The first one. It's really that simple. Play the first Resident Evil game. And I know the old original games just feel kind of outdated due to the remakes, Village, Biohazard, and Requiem. But I feel like people kind of gloss over those games just because the controls aren't really that favorable or that appealing, right? I don't think 10 controls aren't really that bad. In fact, I think they're quite simple actually. Like, honestly, I hope if you're getting to Resident Evil, give those controls a chance. Give the original games a chance, please. They're not terrible. At least try to attempt to get a hold of the controls. Because once you really get a hold of the controls, games become so much fun. The concept of the original games being doo-doo just because they're old and outdated is just not true. Because once you actually get a hold of them, a hold of the controls, you'll start to see how actually fun it is. Because at the end of the day, they are video games too. They were made to entertain people. They are still games. They are still good. They just don't have that kind of modern aspect to them, which is fine. Like Devil May Cry 3, it's a very good game. Not modernized though. Doesn't have like modern controls like Devil May Cry 5. And it's still wonderful. People still love it. People want remakes of these games because they were so good back then. I just think it's unfair to call the original games trash just because they're old, right? And let's say you do play them, right? And you still don't like them. Fair game. That's your opinion. I feel like you have a right to dislike them, right? But some Resident Evil fans are just a tiny bit annoying. Just a tiny bit annoying, right? Where they can't comprehend some people enjoying the remakes over the originals. And I don't know why. Some Resident Evil fans forget that people still have opinions, right? I would rather for you to try the game instead of just writing it off. And if you tried the game and you still didn't like it, cool. No harm in that. At least you tried it, right? But some Resident Evil fans just want to gatekeep the game, call you a tourist, instead of actually like encouraging you to play those games. I don't know why people do that. It's annoying. You're making us look bad. And same goes for modern fans. If you played the remakes and then you go on to see the originals are trash, no one's gonna take you seriously. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, think about it this way. Listen. I played Final Fantasy 16. It's the only Final Fantasy game I played, right? But I never once thought that the turn-based games like Final Fantasy 7 or like the other turn-based games, which Final Fantasy is probably known for, it's being a turn-based game. I'm not gonna call those games trash because I know how beloved Final Fantasy is. I did like the action combat in Final Fantasy 16, but I haven't played the turn-based games, so I don't have a right to say those games suck just because I don't really prefer turn-based games, which I don't really feel that way. Actually, I'm just making an example. Like I could really play a turn-based game, right? I do have Final Fantasy 7. I probably should go play it. I mean the original. I don't have the remakes yet, but I'll probably play the original before I play the remake. Okay. Honestly, if I were you, I would play both the original and the remakes. I feel like they're completely different experiences, especially like RE2, RE3, and RE4. Alright, let's say you didn't enjoy RE1. Go on to RE2 remake if you want. Or you could try the original as well. Play both. Let's say you enjoyed RE2 remake, right? You enjoy that game, try the original. See if you like that one too. And if you like that one, then you go back to RE1 original. Oh yeah, and RE1 original, there are two different versions. There's a remaster and an original version as well. You also got to factor in that some games from Resident Evil aren't really that easy to access. So you could just play the 2002 remaster. I don't think it's that much of a difference. I think the 2002 remaster adds more. I haven't played the original one yet, which I probably should, which I'm going to do this summer, right? Okay, let's say you're not really appealed by the tank controls in the old games. Go ahead and play the remix. Like, if you're just trying to have some fun, right? You don't want to go that deep into it. You just want to play some games, right? Go ahead, play the remix. Don't let anybody. It's your decision at the end of the day, right? I'm just encouraging you to play the originals as well. But play RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake. I mean, the issue is RE3 Remake is I think it's a little worse than RE2 Remake, just because it's so much more shorter. There's a lot of cut content from the original, which is like, it's disappointing. It really is disappointing. But there's a mod that's gonna add some of the cut content from the original to the remake. It's called Last Escape. Yo, you should honestly go show those developers or those modders some support, right? The Last Escape looks very promising. They already added the RPD and the bar, which looks very good. I can't wait for that mod. I hope it doesn't get canceled. Now let's say you're kind of an action guy, right? You should probably play RE3 Remake as well. I think RE3 Remake has more action than RE2 because of the dodges, the perfect dodges and stuff. But after you played RE3 Remake, go straight to RE4. RE4 is very good. It's very actiony, right? It's still a little scary in some places, not as much as the first 3 games, but RE4 Remake's pretty good. So is the original. So if I were you, I would play both. Really, play both. I do like the puzzles in RE4. I think they're pretty good compared to like RE5 and RE6, which virtually have like. Is there even any puzzles in RE5 and RE6? I don't know, dude. Right, but RE5 and RE6, they're good games. RE6, I don't know. I don't know if I would say it was a good game. Actually, okay, let me explain. I think RE5 with a friend, if you have a friend, you should play RE5 and RE6, of course. Alright. But I think RE5 is like very weak. In like up until you get to Wesker, right? I think RE5 is one of the weakest Resident Evil games out there. Right? Jeez, it's a slog getting to Wesker. Like right after you get to Wesker, the game becomes a little exciting, right? And RE6 is goofy, huh? Right? It's nothing like Resident Evil. It's all just action, right? It's silly fun. I didn't hate it, but if I wanted to play Resident Evil, like survival horror, it would not be Resident Evil 6. So if you're planning to play Resident Evil 6, play with a friend. Please don't play it by yourself. You're going to get bored. Just get on the lobby, get on the multiplayer, find Discord LFG, get a friend, text a friend, give the friend the game so they can play with you. Please. Same with RE5. Oh yeah, and I just realized I completely forgot about Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil 0 is weird. It's weird. I highly do not recommend that you play that game first, even though it's a prequel, because the game doesn't really play like a standard survival horror Resident Evil game. There's no item boxes, right? You have to control 2 characters, and the game, I'm real with you, I think Resident Evil 0 is one of the most frustrating Resident Evil games out of like the classic games like Code Veronica, RE1, RE2, and RE3. I think it's a pretty like a frustrating game compared to them. And let's say you really like Resident Evil, right? You really want to get into the series, you want to play every single game. Go ahead, play Resident Evil 0. You'll probably like it. I don't know, but I wouldn't be mad if you skipped over it. Code Veronica, it's a pretty good game, right? But I do think it's a bit worse than Resident Evil 3 original. That's the only original game I played, like pure original, right? So I don't know about the other 2, but Code Veronica, I liked it. It was good. If you don't have the means or access to play it, I'm not gonna hold it against you. If you want to wait for the remake, honestly, go for it. Honestly, I'm waiting for the remake as well, because I feel like Code Veronica could probably be the best remake in the series, like better than RE4 remake if they do it correctly, bro. Like remake Steve, that one Steve boss fight, jeez, bro, jeez, dude. All the boss fights in Code Veronica are pure agony, doom and despair. That one tyrant fight on the plane, jeez, bro, pure ass. I'm sorry. Steve's fight, where you just run, dude. Nah, you can't even fight Steve. You have to outrun him, and he does so much damage. He does so much damage. He really does so much damage, and I feel like the controls in Code Veronica were at its worst. Like tank controls were like really bad in Code Veronica. I don't know why. I got over it though. I prevailed, and I beat the game. It was still fun. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to make the remake, and you don't have access to, like, I don't know, if you don't have access to the original games whatsoever, don't be bummed out. Just play the remakes, right? And if you really like them, try to find a way to get your hands on them. But otherwise, I'm not gonna shame you for not being able to play them. Like, anyone who does that is a loser. And I want to bring up a point real quick before I go to 78. I feel like some Resident Evil fans are kind of hate remakes, right? They don't want the original games to be touched. And I feel like the remakes do more good than harm most of the time, besides RE3 remake. But you don't talk about that. What I'm trying to say is, like, an example of this was Metal Gear Solid 3, right? I tried playing the original Metal Gear Solid 3 like years ago. I didn't really enjoy it because I feel like the controls were just not that good for me, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. And then Delta comes about, right? I give it another try, and it was really fun. Like, I could see why people liked Snake Eater, right? And I was like, okay, maybe I'll give the other series a try. What I'm trying to say is like, I feel like the remakes could give an incentive to people who play the originals as well, right? Bring people, like, introduce people to Resident Evil. I played RE2 remake and RE3 remake right after I played RE1 remake, right? And then I played the rest of the games, and then I went back and I played original RE3. It was great. I love that game. I love the original RE3. It was so fun, right? I'm planning to play the other two later. If you start with RE7 and RE8, those games are pretty good, actually. RE7 is extremely scary. It doesn't really play, it's in first person, obviously, and it doesn't really play like the other games, but I feel like that game is way closer to Resident Evil than like 4, 5, and 6, right? So I wouldn't be really mad if you started with 7 and 8. I think 7's a bit better than RE8, but both of them are very good, really. However, Requiem is very good. If you want to start with this game, you really could. But if you care about story, you should probably play like RE2 remake, RE3 remake, just to get a hold of Raccoon City and stuff, right? But Requiem is very good. It's survival horror, and it's action based too. It's like RE1 and then Resident Evil 6 mixed in, because Grace is the RE1 side and Leon's the RE6 side, right? It was very good. I feel like they had a perfect balance of action and survival horror. It was so good. So if you want to start Requiem, go ahead. But if you care too much about the story, you might want to play some of the previous games first before you go straight to Requiem. But honestly, at the end of the day, pick whichever game interests you. Like, I'm just suggesting, really, at the end of the day. Don't feel bad if you prefer a remake over the original, or if you prefer the original over the remake, right? It's your decision. These games are single player. Some act like the multiplayer, which is crazy. Everyone has different experiences. Yes, some people may enjoy the remakes over the originals, and that's okay. No need to crucify them. And some may enjoy the originals over the remake. That's 100% fine. It's called an opinion, right, Resident Evil fans? Right? They're not LARPers. They're not tourists. They're just trying to have some fun. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.